This episode is weird.
This episode is weird. I'm not sure about this one.
This episode's too much.
Should we not do it?
Well, we'll see.
Let's see what they feel about it.
This is a very tight, or not tight, but broad subject.
It's controversial too.
It's controversial.
Nobody else is talking about it. Let's try it.
Put it out there.
Put it out there. We're supposed to be unfiltered.
Do you think this episode is weird? Tell us the truth.
Welcome to Three Voices Unfiltered, where no topic is off limits and everything gets real. Join us,
Ranisha,
Teresa,
Suzanne, as we dive into hot topics, share our wildest experiences, and bear our honest opinions and thoughts. Buckle up, because with us, it's always raw, always vibrant, and absolutely unfiltered.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Three Voices Unfiltered. I'm Ranisha.
I'm Suzanne.
I'm Teresa.
And today we're going to talk about something really, really interesting. Something that I don't know if we can even describe, but things that happen to us. And we're calling it When Life Whispers, coincidence or intuition. Mm-hmm. Or you felt like you heard something telling you to do something, or you felt a quiet, still voice inside saying something to you. Pick up the phone, call a friend, go to the doctor. Don't go that way, go the other way. Has that ever happened to any of you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So many times.
Yeah, especially the one about as I'm traveling and I'm late. Something took me back into the house. And I'm like, something took me back into the house. And I have learned not to get mad about that. You know? I just felt like, ooh, maybe I'm being protected, you know, from being out on the road at this time. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then you go down the road and there's an accident. Like, that's happened to me.
Yeah.
Something slowed me down, and then there's an accident up the road, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
That could have been you, like 5 minutes if you were, you know, and you had left.
Yeah. One time, recently, I, for some reason, I needed to pick up the phone to call Suzanne. I needed to pick up the phone to call her because normally we text each other. So I picked up the phone and called her, and I don't know. I just wanted to. I just don't know. It was just my spirit just said pick up the phone and call her, and I picked up the phone and called her, and for sure, I don't even know. I don't know what this. I don't even remember what it was about. But I needed to talk to my friend at that particular time, and I'm glad I did.
You hear twins having that.
Yes.
You know, that relationship. Is it telepathy?
I don't know.
It's like connection.
Twins having that connection where they feel like I need to call my twin today. And something's wrong. Or they feel a sharp pain and it's their twin who hurt themselves. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just some type of inner connection. Maybe a gut feeling that we have. It could be a whisper from God that somebody needs us, or sometimes our brain, which I'm just reading from the research that we did, is used to specific patterns and behaviors and empathy, and it can connect somehow to things that are going on outside of us.
Yeah.
But I think it's even deeper than that. I think there's times where that pull is so strong that, and you don't, like this happened to me when we lived in California. I had a really good friend, and she was on my mind for a couple of days for me to call her. I did not call her. I was too busy with life, just caught up doing my own thing. I did not call her, and within days of me having that feeling, she was murdered. She was, and when I was calling her, my intention, we had a discussion about her moving to North Carolina, and the call was the follow-up, and I didn't do it. Oh, I felt bad. It took me a long time to get over that. It wasn't my fault that it happened. I wasn't the one that murdered her, but I felt culpable somehow.
Yeah.
In my head. I can't explain it. I felt culpable because if I had called her, maybe it wouldn't happen. And it's just when you get that whisper, and sometimes I listen, to be honest, and sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
And in both ways, it has proven or something has happened.
Wow.
At our podcast episode, My Diagnosis Story, I talk about how I heard a voice saying, get up and go to the doctor, to the urgent care. I went in and asked my doctor for a CT scan, and she said, you don't need it.
Oh, wow.
wow.
That's
She
crazy.
told me I didn't need it.
Wow.
So now 4 months later, I literally one morning, and I believe it was the Holy Spirit that woke me up out of my sleep and told me to go to urgent care, which I did. As soon as I went to the urgent care, this doctor said, we're getting you a CT scan. Of course, something came back. It was something in my head. They didn't really know what it was at the time, but I really feel like that was God's whisper. I feel like it was the Holy Spirit
Right.
telling me to get up in 5 a.m. in the morning. I'm not getting up past 9 a.m. It's a struggle even to come to these podcast recordings. Just keeping it 100. But 5 a.m. in the morning, I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to do anything. But I got up and I went to the urgent care and found out I had a brain tumor. But I believe in God speaking to us through his Holy Spirit. I believe that the more of a relationship that we have with him, the more he speaks to us, or he can speak to us, because we're open to hear from him. So I feel like a lot of those voices that I hear or feelings that I get, some people call it intuition. Some people may say it's a coincidence, but I definitely feel like it's God speaking.
Yeah, as a Christian, I concur with what Renisha says, and I absolutely believe that it is the Holy Spirit. And in my life, how I've been living it for quite a few years now, is that I try my best to stay in tune with the Holy Spirit. I ask the Holy Spirit every day. I say, okay, Holy Spirit, me and you today. You know, I ask the Holy Spirit, how can I be a blessing to somebody today? I ask Holy Spirit, lead and guide me today. You know, I ask the Holy Spirit to watch help me watch my words, and my actions, today. And that's just how I live my life. And a lot of times people do use the word, intuition, gut feelings. Those are, some of the terms that we hear people say.
Yes.
And what I would say to that is that it is absolutely real. And pay attention to it.
Absolutely.
John has a story. I should have him pop in, but he said that when his grandpa died, he was somewhere. He just told me the story yesterday. I can't remember where he was, but his grandpa was in the hospital. His mom was with him, grandpa's daughter, and John said he was somewhere and he just felt he just had this feeling that grandpa was beside him, and that grandpa was with him, but no longer here. And when he told his mom said that's the time that grandpa passed away. So that's just these
that happened.
Weird feelings that we get, and they're legit, like they check out.
It's weird that you said that, because that reminded me when my brother passed away. He was murdered. He was coming to me in a lot of dreams that week. After saying, hey, I'm okay, I'm good, I'm fine.
Oh, wow.
And I would wake up happy and excited.
Wow.
Just to know and remember that he's not here. But it happened every day, like for a week after his funeral. He kept coming to me in my dream saying, I'm okay, I'm fine, tell mom and dad I'm good, I'm okay.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, and I would be so happy thinking that it was real, and
Right.
it wasn't. I don't know what that was. I've never experienced it, and it stopped.
Okay, I'm gonna share something with you guys.
Okay.
When my son was 14 years old, his father was murdered as well. And when his mother called me that morning, it was Memorial Day of 1992, and I was home from work, and I was thinking about going to a block party. If you don't know what that is in New Jersey,
She's about to get.
you know, I was supposed to go to a block party, but I was debating whether I was going to go because we had inclement weather at the time, and so I'm like, I don't want to go out there in the rain. But anyway, so I got a phone call from his grandmother, and she told me that Brad's father had passed away, and so I had to go tell my son. But before I told my son, I had to call my brother because my brother's really close with my son. Tell him to come on over because I'm getting ready to tell my son, what happened. But I have to say that I never grieved. So 2 things. I never grieved because I always felt like God prepared me for that. God prepared me for that. And I'll say to this day that I believe that he prepared me for that.
Interesting.
I've never grieved. I've never shed a tear.
Wow.
Well, no, I did share a couple of tears going to work one day. But it was happy tears. It wasn't like I was grieving because he's not here anymore. This is what happened to him. Because we had just saw him probably because he was traveling the country. So we had just saw him like 9-10 days before that. All right. And then we had this conversation, and in the conversation, you guys, his father was getting ready. His father was on tour, and his father said that when summer comes, and this is Memorial Day, right? May. He said, when my son gets out of school, he's going to take him, on the tour to prepare. And he told me, he told me that he loved me. He said I did a good job, up until that point. And so now it's time for him to take over because, like I said, my son was 14 at that age.
Wow.
And so it was like we had a good conversation. Him and I had a conversation ourselves. We had a conversation with our son there. So when his father passed away, it didn't hurt.
You have peace.
You had that last final conversation.
I had peace. And after that, for a few years, I dreamt about him constantly. That he was just away. Like, not that he was dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That he was just away. And I haven't had, and it happened for a few years. And I would always think that he was coming, I would see him again. Not that he was coming back.
Like you're seeing your dreams.
But I would see him again. So that's why I said, Renisha, I can understand exactly what you're saying, what happened with you and your brother, because it happened to me.
And then it stopped abruptly.
I wonder if it's like do you think that's a psychological, do you think it's our own psyche trying to adjust and reconcile? Or
maybe.
Do you think it's beyond, and maybe God is through dreams giving you peace, saying, hey, he's okay?
I
don't
know.
Or that stuff is just so.
Because what about the things that we dream that comes true?
Yes.
I've had many. People call things deja vu, like you've seen something before, but I've dreamt of scenarios and I've dreamt of scenes that I'll see that same scene in my life now. And I'm like, wait a minute.
This is weird.
I just saw this. Why is it happening right now? Like, I don't understand how to explain it.
It's like I've lived this. I've seen this. I've experienced before.
I had this conversation before with this person right here. And what is that?
That
coincidence?
That's happened to me, and I don't know. We call it deja vu, but is it? I don't. But it's. I do feel when that happens to me in my soul that I've experienced this before. This is like take 2 of what's already happened. But I have a story. This one is. I had a dream about a baby that looked just like Kevin. This baby, it was Kevin's image. So I texted Kevin. I have the text, and I actually looked at it yesterday to see the date so that I'm not getting my, that I'm saying what I'm saying is true, to see that I'm backing up my experience. But I sent him a text and I said, I had a dream that I had a baby that looked just like you. I said, it's not for me because I can't have any babies. Right. Trying to make it a joke like, where's this baby coming from? So fast forward about, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks later, Kevin and Adele called me and saying that she's expecting, and I was like, what? Oh my gosh. And I had this dream.
Yeah.
So I looked at my text. According from the time that I sent the text, just a few days later, Adele got pregnant. When you punch in the dates.
Wow.
That was so weird. So I said, oh my gosh, remember the dream I had? And not to deny that this child.
The child looks
Just
like
like
your son,
Kevin.
just like Kevin. But Teresa, do you remember if you dream about fish, somebody's pregnant?
Oh yeah. All these old sayings. Yeah.
I mean, these
and there's certain
sayings.
things. If this happens, you're gonna have a boy. If that happens, you're gonna have a girl.
If the penny sways like more to the left, it's a boy.
Oh, I grew up in Puerto Rico, so you're talking about superstitions
Yeah, the
and
superstitious
traditions
stuff.
and whatever. Like, if you dreamt about somebody getting married, that meant somebody was going to die. Or if you dreamt, it's just insane. Like, we
Insane
used
stuff.
to...
grew up
It
on
was
that
just
kind
all
of
this
stuff.
stuff that...
Yeah. Let me ask you guys a question. This came up in my spirit. What about psychics? What do you take
Yeah.
from psychics? Because to me, I believe that the Lord is the ultimate psychic.
Yeah.
Well, it's biblical.
Yeah.
This is going to get very theological.
I don't know much about psychics in the Bible. I just know that
They were witch, like the one that got rebuked in the magician, they call them magicians, that one that they have like when they had the Holy Spirit, like what do you have, or when they were healing, when they were healing people, and what do you do, and got rebuked. But this is very.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't deal
do-
with them.
Yeah.
I don't deal in that space.
Realm.
Of that realm. I don't
No.
deal with in it, but I know there is a spiritual realm.
And I do believe that there's some spiritual, like I've had people, hey, I want, experience, or you see it on TV or whatever. This psychic told me my life story. And they really believe that they knew what they were saying. I think sometimes they do research. I think sometimes there is some type of realm. I don't want to like insult any psychics. Maybe if you are, you can jump in and give us your opinion.
But people have gifts.
That's the word that that's
People
the
have gifts to be able to prophesy and say things about you. They do, but it's just, where is it coming from?
Yes, exactly.
But people do have them.
And I do say that. That's why I prefaced the conversation. I said, God is the ultimate. If you want to say psychic,
I wouldn't even want to put him in that same sentence.
Not psychic, because he's not trying to guess your future. He
What I'm
knows
saying-
your
no,
future.
that's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah.
He created us. Okay, he knew us. Okay, while we were in our mother's womb, and he knows our tomorrow. All right, that's why I'm.
I know what you're
I'm
saying. Yeah.
So I just want to be clear, about that. He knows our tomorrow. He knows our past. He knows our present, and he knows.
He knows these things. It's not guessing, or
That's right.
I don't know if you've ever had anybody speak over, because the same thing happens with evangelists and prophets. Like you said, they can prophesy and say things over you, but that's not a life whisper. A life whisper, to me, is more when it's from me to me,
And it's
from
about
whatever
you.
source.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
From my gut, my mind, the Holy Spirit, or my brain doing its own neuroscience. Like, it's just, but it happens. Like, how do I can't explain, and I don't know if we won't be able to.
I don't think we'll be able to explain it.
But it's just so weird. So I would like to hear your stories. Like, what are some of you? Because people have interesting stories out there of things that they've been heard, or hey, do this, and then when you go and it's something is how, hey, go turn your car around, go to the house, and when they get there, their house is on fire. Like all these little stories that it happens.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
And if something does not come of it, for them, it's realistic to them. Because a lot of times I believe that people are looking for comfort.
That's true.
People are looking for comfort. So it's, so if something happens, or somebody speaks a word over them, that gives them
This is a very
comfort.
Yeah, I think
icky, interesting.
I just feel like, there's some unknowns
There's a
in
lot.
this life.
Yes.
that we will never have answers to, or maybe one day we will. I don't know, but I just kind of try to stay away from the evil part of it.
Yeah.
The evil spiritual
too
stuff
much
that people are
yeah.
doing. Stay out of that mess. Witchcraft and
all that stuff.
Whatever
now.
that is. Yeah.
But so how about your gut feeling? Just you get this gut feeling about something like, don't go to this party and then something happens. You just get to something kind of like
I
in
said
your
it.
gut.
I said I feel like it's God. It's the Holy Spirit. If I get a gut feeling or I hear something silently in my spirit, I know it's from God.
Especially if it's a good thing, because all good things come from Him.
Exactly.
All good
Exactly.
things. So
I
if
don't
it's
feel
a
like
good
I
thing-
conjure up anything myself because I don't know.
And sometimes isn't it scary, like as Christians, I'll try to discern, am I hearing God or am I hearing Suzanne? Because sometimes it can be just me.
Or
me
don't
wanting
forget the enemy.
to
That's
approve.
right.
Yeah, that too.
Can be.
That can happen. But this is a very tight, or not tight, but broad subject.
It's
that-
controversial too, Suzanne.
It's
controversial.
controversial. So we don't want to create any controversy.
Yes, we do. Why not?
Sure. Okay. We want to create. So share your thoughts, and then if other people have different opinions, like jump in. But we're really just trying to explore what do you think, and how can we go about it, right? Because sometimes, do we listen? Do we not listen? Should we?
And can you explain why you feel what you feel?
And I just want to know if people are skeptical. Do they feel like it's just coincidence? Like, oh, this is just stuff that happens coincidentally. Or is it something that's really real? Is it spiritual? Is it just your gut? Is it gas in your stomach? I mean, what is it?
Yeah, but especially when people say, something told me.
Yeah.
What's the something?
What is
What
it?
is that something to you?
What does something?
What is
tell
that something
you?
to you? Yeah. What's that inner
Yeah.
voice? Where is it coming from for you?
So I guess it depends on our experiences, background, religious beliefs, where you might deduce that the information or the whisper is coming from, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't know. Because I've had dreams that have woken me up, and then, this one I read. This was when the World Trade Center event happened. There were many people that were saying that they got woken up in the middle of the night, just praying. That happened to me. I woke up that night and felt some heaviness in my gut. And I didn't know what was happening. I mean, we didn't know what was happening until the next day it happened. But I was one of those people that got woken up that night, and I felt heavy, and I was praying. I didn't really know what I was praying for because I wasn't specific. So now when I get woken up in the middle of the night,
You pray.
and I pray. I get. Actually, this is some like my best.
My friend told me
with
that.
God.
Yeah, my friend told me that if you're waking up in the middle of the night, pray.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do pray, but that one, there's just these little stories that you hear where we get.
Yeah, it's I mind out, y'all. I mind out, okay? Because it's just above my pay grade. So,
But share with us, like we really
Yeah.
want. This should be a two-way conversation. I wish that we could have an audience where people can speak, but you have comments, so you can go in the comments.
yeah, you have
and let
comments.
us
You can
know.
speak. Yeah. Let us know. So, ladies, how do we end this talk about whispers or intuition or coincidence? What do we say?
I think from my experience, I would listen. And if you need to pick up the phone and call that friend, call them.
I say pay attention.
Pay
attention.
and follow through, because sometimes you just don't know where it might lead you, and it might be something like Teresa when she called me. Like, I needed a friend, and she listened, and I've been in a situation where I didn't listen, and then look what happened.
Yeah, and for me, it's always guided me the right way. So I listen. And I guess it depends on you as a person. It's always my inner spirit, the Holy Spirit has always guided me the right way. So I listen to it when I
But
hear
if it's good, now take it to the flip side. If it's a whisper that's something bad, don't do it.
No, that's a no-brainer.
That's not what we're saying. We're saying if it's something good, like calling a friend or, turning around or something like that.
If it's something bad, like trying to hurt yourself or doing something, stealing or hurting someone else, of course we know we don't do those things. We don't act on those things. That's when you need to
call someone to walk you through it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there may be a friend that has a whisper to call you because you're going through that and they're not listening. You pick up the phone. It's okay. You do it. Like don't let it go to the flip side.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So we're gonna do hashtag 3VU coincidence.
Sure.
Hashtag 3VU intuition. Hashtag 3VU whispers.
Let's do whispers.
Okay.
Let's do all of them.
Let's do all of them.
All of them. All right. We got 3 hashtags. You pick the one that speaks to you.
Or whispers to you.
Whispers to you. Touche. All right.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us today.
Bye. Have a good one.
Bye.
Do us a big favor and hit that like button, share this episode, and subscribe.